the conditions at the factory were very bad. You never had the modern machinery that you've got today, and you can imagine, you know, a whale weighed 50 tonnes, an average of 50-foot whale would weigh 50 tonnes, and that's an awful lot of material to get rid of blood and guts and oil and that laying around. Is very slippery and very dirty work, and you're working with ropes under strain, you know, pulling great weights and all that sort of thing. You had these vast cookers that had to be emptied out, and you know, the residue from them was boiling hot and all that sort of thing. And one chap unfortunately got caught in that and was killed. But, you know, it was a dangerous game, there's no doubt about that. But very exciting on the other hand.
The Marlborough Sounds are a drowned landscape, not because the sea level is rising, but because in this part of New Zealand, the Earth's crust is sinking. As you approach the Marlborough Sounds on the ferry from Wellington, you see a seemingly unbroken line of cliffs rise from the sea. Then a narrow gap appears. Māori called this Te Awaiti, or the Little River. Today it is known as Tory Channel, after a vessel that explored here in 1839. According to Māori oral traditions, the great Polynesian navigator Kupe explored here about 800 years ago. Kupe was led here from his Pacific island in pursuit of a giant octopus, or whike, belonging to an evil enemy, Muturangi. The octopus eventually took shelter near Cook Strait, where Kupe engaged it in a ferocious battle. He eventually delivered a massive blow to the whike's head. It thrashed about before finally coming to rest in nearby Whakenui Bay. The Brothers Islands, which lie about 10 kilometres north of Tory Channel, are known as Ngā Whatu Kaiponu, which means the eyeball of the octopus. According to Māori tradition, all of those who pass by these rocks should avert their gaze. Many other places in the Marlborough Sounds are related to Kupe's story. Te Umu Whike is where part of Muturangi's octopus was believed to have been cooked in an earth oven. Te Kupenga a Kupe, or Kupe's net, is named after the cliffs on Cape Jackson that resemble large fishing nets. Cape Jackson, with its long and narrow rocky form, is known as Te Taonui a Kupe, or Kupe's large spear, and Te Mimi o Kupe is believed to be a spot where Kupe urinated. The English navigator Captain James Cook named a second larger entrance to the area Queen Charlotte Sound. It is one of the 3 major waterways that make up the Marlborough Sounds. During his 3 voyages to New Zealand, Ship Cove and Queen Charlotte Sound became Cook's haven. He and his men rested here, repaired their vessels, and gathered food and water. Cook also released goats, pigs, and sheep at Ship Cove, as well as on nearby Arapawa Island. Descendants of the sheep, now a rare breed, can still be found on the island today. During the early 19th century, whaling stations were established in the Marlborough Sounds from which boats set out to hunt southern right whales as they migrated through Cook Strait. The first shore-based whaling station was set up in 1827 by Jackie Guard, an ex-convict. His station was at Te Awaiti in the Tory Channel. His young wife Betty was reputedly the first woman of European descent to settle in the South Island. In 1834, Jackie and Betty Guard and their 2 children were shipwrecked off the coast of Taranaki and kidnapped by local Māori. Jackie was released, but Betty Guard was held and narrowly escaped death. She was finally rescued 4 months later. Another prominent whaler was Wersa Hebele, who also worked at Te Awaiti. 5 generations of the Hebele family hunted whales. The last 2 worked at the Pirano whaling station at the entrance to Tory Channel. Dolphins and seals, as well as a wide range of fish, also inhabit the Marlborough Sounds. All 3 major sounds are lined with rocky shores interspersed with small sandy beaches. This idyllic landscape attracts numerous anglers, boaties, holidaymakers and tourists. Farming and forestry are also important in the Sounds, and a number of isolated islands are nature reserves where native fauna, especially rare bird species, are protected.